Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market News and Views by In the Money Stocks. Today is Monday, November 18, 2013. Thank you all for tuning in. Let's jump right into the charts here, and we'll see that the futures are trading higher by about 2.5 points to 1796 per contract. So all in all, the futures really overnight have made a move to the upside. They were trading as low as 1791 and now trading at around 1796. Off the highs a little bit, but nonetheless higher on the morning session. Again, the opening bell will ring in about 50 minutes or so. So we'll see how this market plays out. Mondays have a tendency to be a little bit on the lighter side. So I think traders should take note of that. But either way you slice it or dice it, we're not getting a whole lot of activity this morning, so we'll see how this market does shake out and play out. But in the overnight session, you did have some big moves coming out of Asia last night. Shanghai Composite was up about 2.86%, as was the Hang Seng, which is Hong Kong. That is a little bit different. Mainland China is the Shanghai. The Nikkei 225 index, though, was flat on the session, so no action out of the Nikkei last night. The Nikkei really simmered down, but you did have big action out of the Shanghai last night. And anytime you get a 2.86% move, that is a sizable move to the upside. So traders this morning, if the U.S. markets are strong, should watch some of the Chinese ADRs. They'll be pretty strong, or at least they should be pretty strong if the U.S. markets hold steady. Last night also in Asia, it's important to note that India was up about 2% last night as well. So watch the Indian ADRs today. You may get some action in stocks like Tata Motors, the IFN, which is the India Fund. Again, these equities will do well if the U.S. markets hold steady. If the U.S. markets falter or start to decline, you got to be careful with the Indian ADRs. But China and India both could be pretty strong this morning. Chinese ADRs as well as Indian ADRs, and that stands for American Depository Receipts. Those are companies in foreign countries that trade here in the United States. Looking at a few other things here today, when you look at the European markets, really for the most part, they're all holding steady at the moment. I don't really see any real problem here this morning. You have the German DAX trading up about 0.6%. So really, for the most part, all markets are holding pretty steady. I'm not really seeing any real problems. There are a few stocks in the news today you want to take note of. One of the stocks that we're going to look at this morning is Sony Corp. It looks like they released their PlayStation 4 device, and I think they sold 1 million units over the weekend, or at least that's what's being reported. The stock closed at $18.50. It is trading at around $19. I don't see a real desirable resistance level on the stock until it gets to around $20.40. I think that's a level where the stock really becomes vulnerable. I think that's a level in the stock where it really possibly could be faded. But until it gets up to that level, leave it alone. Sony right now is having a pretty good session, pretty strong morning. Let's take a look at Boeing Corp. Everybody knows Boeing Company. Everybody knows Boeing, the world's largest airline, or I should say airplane manufacturer. The stock is hitting new all-time highs today, trading at around 141. It looks like there was an air show in Dubai, I believe, and they got a lot of new orders. But either way, the stock is overbought here at these levels. It's very, very hard to jump on board at this time. The stock is just too overbought, but still a strong name, so I would just leave it alone. But nonetheless, the stock is flying to new all-time highs here. Another stock that I believe had reported earnings this morning is this Jinko Solar, and the stock is roaring and soaring. I don't have a great level up here. I guess you could just start looking at double tops, which are around $40, but there's really no play here. It's another one that is getting a little bit stretched, but it can go higher. So traders want to be a little bit aware of that. But ticker symbol JKS on the move this morning, but I would not fade it yet. I just don't have a great resistance point to sell this one. But it is getting a little overbought and a little stretched. But nonetheless, like everything else, it's just going higher, and you don't want to fight that at the moment. Let's take a look at Tyson Foods. I think Tyson Foods reported earnings, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, the stock is having a pretty good morning. Yeah, I think they did report earnings that beat estimates. So good little move. I'm going to have a gap level for this one. So if you want to come out into the chat room. A gap level will be posted around 9 o'clock. I'll have a gap level. We'll play this Tyson Foods this morning sometime. So we'll see if it gets to our area, and then we'll look to play that stock. Looking at a few other things here, you do have this morning you do have oil trading down about 40 cents to 94.09 a barrel. Let's take a look at the all-important USO, which is a good proxy for light sweet crude, and that's trading at around $33.77. Now, oil, for the most part, is somewhat range-bound in this area, but still really struggling to catch any kind of a solid bid lately over the last few days. So again, oil has been beaten down for quite a while, but still remains in this somewhat of this range down here around 33.50 on the USO. Let's take a look at the gold market this morning, and what you're going to see is that gold is selling off this morning. Gold is down about $7.40 to $12.80 per ounce. Now, if you take a look at the GLD, what you'll see here is that the GLD is trading at 123.58, closed at 124.72. So that is reflecting the $7 decline in spot price. So again, gold is still in a very, very vulnerable position, at least at the moment. There really are no solid patterns that I'm seeing on the gold chart, but nonetheless, it's not bad intraday. It does move up and down, but it can be a very, very volatile vehicle, so traders want to respect that and take note of that, and we'll see how this all plays out. Looking over everything else, I think we're looking at a little bit of a quieter morning, but that is typical on Mondays. Mondays and Fridays have a tendency to be a little bit on the quiet side, so we'll see how this all shakes out and plays out, and we'll see what the market tells us and what the market gives us. I'm not seeing anything really all that definitive this morning to make any bold comments about this market, but I will say watch those stocks that I mentioned. They'll be in play for the first hour, hour and a half, and that's what you want to take advantage of in these kind of light volume sessions. With that said, everybody have a great trading day, and we will see you on the charts. Take care now.